supposed to be a happy homecoming following the Super Bowl win for the Kansas City Chiefs. We are waking up to some extremely distressing news.
Absolutely. A shooting at the official victory parade has left unbelievably 21 people injured, some very seriously, and one person dead. Yet another example of mass gun violence in the United States.
800 officers were already at the scene monitoring crowds, but despite the large police presence, we now know 9 of the victims are children aged between 9 and 15. Police say the suspects had pretended to be fans amongst the crowd.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment. We had over 800 law enforcement officers, Kansas City and other agencies, at the location to keep everyone safe. Because of bad actors, which were very few, this tragedy occurred, even in the presence of uniformed law enforcement officers, who again ran towards them and took them into custody.
Appalling. Joining us now from Kansas City is Manny Abarca, who was with the daughter watching the parade and was an eyewitness to this horrific attack. Manny, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Can you put in your own words exactly what happened overnight in the States?
Yeah, it's a tragic situation. I was there with my 6-year-old daughter, Camila, and we went from catching confetti to hiding in a bathroom, not knowing what our fate may be. Unfortunately, this is the state of large events like this in America. We have to look out for those with weapons that are readily accessible and accessible, particularly in states like Missouri.
So, Manny, this victory parade, you've gone along with your daughter. When did you realise something's going really wrong?
Yeah, so thankfully the county was involved in sponsoring the parade, so we had relatively good seats. And during the reception component, it wasn't until the partitions came down and a wave of folks coming, screaming, gun, police, run. That's when I realized there was something going on. I grabbed my daughter, ran into the nearby restaurant with Chiefs players, ownership's family, and even Coach Andy Reid, frantically trying to find a place to hide.
You'll understand from this side of the pond, Manny, we wake up to these appalling stories increasingly regularly, and of course there then begins this whole debate on this side of the pond about gun crime and whatever. It must be appalling to live in America and be looking, retrospectively is probably the wrong thing to say, but to be looking over your shoulder the whole time, because it's something that does seem to happen with appalling regularity, doesn't it?
Unfortunately so. Thankfully, in my situation, I have the power of a pen, and I plan to use it. So I have been spending the last hours of my time not grieving for a lost friend, but instead trying to plot how we're going to strategically change things here in Missouri and in America.
We know one person's died. There's about 20 others injured. Lots of those include children. Manny, you know the victim. What can you tell us about her?
Yeah, Lisa was an incredible leader in the Latino community here in Kansas City, celebrating Mexican culture as a radio DJ. And so she served public radio for many years, and I've had the opportunity and privilege to be on her show and participating in community events throughout Kansas City with her and her family. So she is a large loss to our community, but also she was a mother. She was a friend, a neighbor. These are the types of folks that tragically are victim to what some, use as a hobby, collecting so many guns.
Manny, this just in, you might have heard this stateside. President Joe Biden has said that the shooting at the Super Bowl victory celebration in Kansas, Missouri on Wednesday cuts deep into the American soul. He once again renewed his call for gun control. The Super Bowl, he said, is the most unifying event in America. A win is a moment that brings such joy that cannot be matched, and the winning team and their supporters. Biden is, he's been, to be fair, without getting political, you've got two sides of one argument there, haven't you? Joe Biden has asked for greater gun control. We know all about the amendments and the fact that America made these decisions. Do you ever see it changing, Manny?
I pray to God it does. I think one benefit that we have here in Kansas City is Taylor Swift. And I think no matter what side of the pond you're on, she is a force to be reckoned with. And so I've tried tweeting at her, and I know the folks at Kansas City Chiefs will help engage. But we need to employ every power and possibility we have here. We can no longer just think about things and pray for wishes of change. We need to act on it.
I think, Manny, we hear that sentiment every time there's an incident like this, and yet the political will and appetite to actually be able to change something seems at such a deadlock.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. I left once I found out that we were safe. I left on my phone, texting city council members, texting other county elected officials, even reaching out across my state to St. Louis, asking folks, are we ready to step up to the plate now? And can we do this at a local level if it's not going to get done on a national or statewide level? Perhaps the local side is where we start this instead of depending upon federal or statewide solutions. We have the power as elected officials to make change, and we need to do it. And if those are standing in the way, we need to get rid of them.
Manny, we really appreciate you've stayed up for us to do this. We really appreciate it. We send our love and our thoughts to everybody in Kansas City after that horrible incident overnight. And thank you for making it TalkTV. And we'll keep you updated throughout the morning as that story develops.